Welcome back to another day in paradise. Boy, is it hot today here in the UK. It is absolutely roasting. And I've had to deploy the aircon into the house, into the living room in the house. So I've got no fan, I've got no aircon. So this is going to be a quick one, but it's going to be an interesting one because it involves what I think is going to be possibly one of the fights of the year, and a very consequential fight for both men. And of course, it's Moses Itauma versus Filip Hrgović. And what I want to drill into here is there's two elements to this in my mind. The first one is I've been absolutely fascinated by the mind games deployed by Filip Hrgović. You okay, love?
Yes, I'm good,
Sorry about that. The wife's beavering around and it's slightly off-putting. But anyway, we move swiftly on. But back to the mind games of Filip Hrgović. He is deploying this strategy like a seasoned pro. And I absolutely doff my cap to him because it started at the press conference. If you go back and watch the press conference, the theme of the mind game strategy from Phil Hrgović was questioning the path that he's had to take, which is this long and windy road, versus this path that Moses Itauma has taken, which essentially the point he's making is everything was laid out for you on a plate. I've had to do it the hard way. And that's really rubbed Moses Itauma up the wrong way. Now, despite his youthful swagger and the way that he communicates, which is, he's a very articulate guy. And I do think he's quite a mature guy for his age. But maturity comes in many different forms. And I think I don't think he's emotionally as mature as he would like to think, because some of those cracks in the way that he's responded to Filip Hrgović I find fascinating. And the latest one was an interview where you had the two of them in a room and they were watching highlight reels of each other. And it was really good how Hrgović handled some of these knockouts. And I urge you to go and watch these. And he was saying, yeah, essentially great shot, yeah, explosive power, but that's it. Yeah, it doesn't prove anything. I just thought it was wonderful. And of course, in those highlight reels, it did show Filip Hrgovic's durability, and particularly against Zhang, where he took a tremendous amount of punishment. There's been others as well, where he's taken a flurry of heavy shots, and weaker men would have been dropped. Of that there is no doubt, but therein lies the mind games and what underpins and gives them credibility, because Hrgovic's chin, and there was a nice comment in my previous video which I think summed it up perfectly, and that is, Moses Itauma could be literally facing a brick wall on that night. And I really think he could. And then if you go back to the fights where Moses Itauma has gone the distance, of which I think there are two, if you look at those fights, and he was frustrated in those fights, one of those fights, he wasn't himself. There was definitely something going on there, which, demonstrates he's human, he's young, he has to be in the zone as well. But the other fighters, despite not having the youth on their side, many of them were old boys, very much spent, if we're being honest, as far as the boxing careers are concerned. But they had enough experience and talent to defend. And if you can defend, if you're a good boxer and you can defend, and it's very, very difficult for somebody that's a little bit of a one-trick pony, if we're talking about explosive power, to be able to take them out, especially if that's all they're looking for. And if you look at Moses Itauma in those fights, it's almost as though that's how he's programmed now, is that I'm going to take your head off. And so what's in the tank when you can't do that? And from what I've seen from those fights, he's got something to be worried about here with Filip Hrgović. He really, really does. So look, that's my take on it. Please leave your opinion in the comments. That's what this is all about, by the way. I'm not saying I'm right. This is my opinion, but I'd love to hear what you think. But I, for one, am really excited by the prospect of this fight between Moses Itauma and Filip Hrgović. As I said in the previous video, I've really kind of come to like Filip Hrgović. He's got a sense of humour, and I like him. So as much as I'd like to see Moses Itauma go on and do well, do you know what? I'd be quite happy if Filip Hrgović won this fight. There's so much on the line for both of them. You know, it really is a consequential fight, because whoever wins will probably be in their next fight fighting for a world championship. You know, they're all out there now, and it's going to be such a high profile fight that whoever wins, I think, will be able to call the shots and go forth and challenge for a world title. And to be perfectly honest with you, I'd be comfortable if that was Filip Hrgović. I like the guy. I think he's good. Moses is you know, he's got a big future of that. I've got no doubt. Whether he's up to the job with Filip Hrgović remains to be seen. If I had to give you my prediction, I would say that this is a 60-40 fight in favour of Hrgović. There, I've said it. I really do think that Filip Hrgović is going to win. But let me know what you think. So anyway, guys, stay cool out there if you're in the UK or wherever you are around the world. Thanks for watching, and please do give us a like, hit the subscribe button. I've got more opinions to give. See you on the next one. Take care.